Escalation via Baron Samedit. After finishing two different paths of elevating our privileges from a non-privileged user to root access, using different techniques, we now reach the part of elevating our privileges using a recently discovered vulnerability in sudo, known as Baron Samedit, with the CVE reference 2021-3156. In this section, we will assume that our target system does not have Docker installed. Our only path is to find a reliable exploit that suits our needs, without leaving negative impacts on the target system. As previously emphasized, the last thing we need is to cause a denial of service, or, even worse, crash the target system. A recent heap-based buffer overflow vulnerability in sudo was discovered, carrying a high CVSS score of 7.8, and dubbed Baron Samedit. Exploitation of this flaw allows any unprivileged local user to immediately escalate to root without additional authentication. This affects both the legacy version 1.8.2 and the stable version 1.9.5 of sudo. We first launch Metasploit in quiet mode, as it will serve as our vehicle for exploiting this vulnerability. We allow a few seconds for our penetration testing framework to load. At this point, we can see our exploit, admin shell upload, is ready. Let's verify that all options are set correctly using the show options command. Everything is in place, so we fire up the exploit. We wait a few seconds for the meterpreter session to be established. Before proceeding, we upgrade our shell to a proper TTY so that we can detect and verify the existence of the Baron Samedit vulnerability. We also set our terminal emulator to Xterm. The verification process involves triggering the buffer overflow with the following command. This command passes a huge block of data, a string of 65,536 A characters, to the application. If the system is vulnerable, this will cause it to crash. As expected, our target system is vulnerable to Baron Samedit, as indicated by the segmentation fault message. This occurs because the application attempted to access memory it shouldn't, causing a controlled crash. At this stage, a well-written exploit named hacks me a sandwich can be used. It is publicly available on GitHub. After confirming that sudo edit can be abused, we are ready to escalate privileges fully, using a publicly available exploit for Baron Samedit, known as CVE 2021-3156. The goal is straightforward: fetch the exploit, compile it, and execute it safely to obtain root access. But as always, real-world conditions are rarely straightforward. It seems convenient to compile the exploit directly on the lab host, since we already have a shell. Let's try compiling the exploit and see if it works. As we attempt to run the command, we quickly encounter a limitation. The command cannot be executed, and as non-privileged users, we cannot install missing packages. The lab host simply does not allow us to compile there. Turning our attention to Kali, we reason that it has all the necessary tools. To verify that the resulting binary will be compatible, we check the library versions on both systems with LDD version. The lab host shows 2.27, while Kali reports 2.41. A binary compiled here would be incompatible. It would fail when executed on the target. We are faced with a classic problem. We have the source, the host is inaccessible, and the libraries do not match. How shall we proceed?